Now at 6, the family of a Southeast Kansas murder victim claims conflict of interest affects the prosecution of a suspected killer.
Plus, we're tracking the possibility of some severe weather later on tonight.
Also, how some Joplin grade schoolers could benefit from some new grant funds.
And how veterans coping with PTSD deal with 4th of July. I'm Fernanda Silva with the story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We have the potential for severe weather, including high winds in much of the 4 states tonight. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, our severe threat is going to be fairly late tonight. I think most of us after 11 or midnight, the storms really haven't even gotten going yet. They're going to get going out across southwestern parts of Kansas. But we do have that threat. Level 1, northern counties in the yellow, level 2, level 3 in our southern counties. The main threat is going to be very gusty winds across the region. Plus, we got to deal with this heat advisory the next several days as triple-digit heat starts to move into the area. Outside for us right now, most of us are good. We do have a few random little showers in our western counties, but we're going to watch this cluster, that little cluster right here, panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. That's one that's going to kind of turn east and track toward us later on tonight. But through the evening hours, we look fine. But look at the storms working in. So here's midnight, 1, 2 o'clock starting to get into the metro. So a loud night with that severe potential and even some heavy amounts of rain as well. We're going to talk more about this and the heat here in just a bit.
See you soon. Joplin city officials are urging residents to check on their family members, neighbors, friends, and pets as that heat index rises to dangerous levels in the coming days. Public areas in the city will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. as potential cooling centers. The Joplin Athletic Center, City Hall, Health Department, and Public Safety Center will open. However, guidelines must be followed, such as staying within designated areas and respecting others' space. Officials say it's important to stay hydrated, dress appropriately, and minimize direct sun exposure during heat waves. And don't forget your pets. They want pet owners to ensure their pets have access to shade and cool water. The family of a Parsons area murder victim says the Neosho County District Attorney shouldn't prosecute the suspect due to a conflict of interest. We brought you the story of Dakota Patton when he went missing back in April and when his body was found in early May. Clint and Kimberly Nybarger are arrested on May 8th for the murder of Patton and are now awaiting trial. Dakota's family today is speaking out about how the case is proceeding, and the county prosecutor, Linus Thuston, who they say has no business leading this case.
Yeah, Linus has represented Clint for sure multiple times. In the affidavit it says he represented him on a DUI, fleeing and eluding, open container. Clint's paid Linus money before, and when they arrested Clint, Linus's contact number was in Clint's phone.
Prosecutor declined our request for a comment. We're going to hear more from the Patton family tonight at 10. A Pineville, Missouri woman who was previously indicted for the kidnapping and murder of a pregnant Arkansas woman now faces an additional charge of killing the victim's unborn child. In November, 43-year-old Amber Waterman was accused of taking Ashley Bush from Maysville, Arkansas to Pineville because authorities say Waterman wanted to claim Bush's unborn child as her own. The original indictment alleges the kidnapping resulted in Bush's death. Today's superseding indictment also alleges in a new count that Amber Waterman caused the death of a child in utero. Authorities discovered the burned remains of the mother on Waterman's property. The baby was found with Amber Waterman and her husband, Jamie Waterman. The baby was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Both Watermans remain in custody. The indictment alleges that Jamie Waterman tried to help his wife hide the crime and elude authorities. One of 2 men accused in the death of a Dallas County, Missouri woman entered a guilty plea today. Timothy Norton pleaded guilty to first-degree murder for the 2021 death of Cassidy Rainwater. A judge has now sentenced him to life in prison without parole. A judge earlier this year gave Norton's co-defendant James Phelps the same sentence after he entered an Alford plea to similar charges. Cassidy Rainwater was reported missing in 2021. FBI investigators said they received photos from an anonymous source showing rainwater in a cage. Investigators later found photos of rainwater on Phelps's phone and eventually discovered rainwater's skeletal remains. This is Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Day. With the 4th of July right around the corner, veterans who suffer from PTSD start getting anxious about the holiday. That happens because for many, as the nation celebrates its independence with fireworks, some veterans are triggered by the sights and the smells and the sounds. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has that story.
Stanley Walker was 21 years old when he served in Vietnam. More than 50 years later, he relives the bad memories from the war every Independence Day.
4th of July is much like a firefight. There's the explosions, there's the colors, there's the voices, there's the smells, there's a lot of trauma that comes back up that you don't deal with throughout the year.
But even though Stanley still deals with the consequences of PTSD every 4th of July, he says the years made it easier.
I just wanted to run away screaming. I just wanted to get out, go somewhere. I wanted to hide, find a hole and crawl into it. For me, it's gotten better. For some people, I know it will never get better. They will die with it, or they will die from it, die because of it.
But Stanley is far from alone. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, PTSD is slightly more common among veterans than civilians. About 7% of those who served will deal with the condition at some point in their lives.
I go to my back bedroom, I turn the TV up as loud as I can, and that's where I stay the whole night. I'm back to where I was, and the friends I've lost. I can actually sometimes see faces of my buddies, and that's really hard.
The only thing missing in the fireworks is people screaming for help.
Military liaison at Ozark Center, Roger recommends veterans to integrate with others who have a similar story and to ask for help if needed. He also has an advice for those interacting with veterans, especially those coping with PTSD on Independence Day.
Be the good neighbor. Be the good family member if you know a veteran. Most of us know at least a veteran. Be understanding, don't be judgmental. Understand what they're going through. Try to keep that in mind.
Go ahead and shoot your fireworks. You're celebrating the freedom of the people of the United States and the founding of the country. We'll deal with ourselves. But if you got a vet next door to you and you've got the big fireworks you're going to shoot off, please find somewhere else to go shoot those off.
Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
For veterans coping with PTSD on the 4th of July, specialists recommend repeating simple reminders like, "This is not a combat zone." Those reminders can help reset the brain during a PTSD trigger. We're hosting a flag swap tomorrow from 11 until 2 at an Arbist Bank in Joplin. It's going to be at 2023 East 32nd Street. All you have to do is bring your old, tattered American flag to get a brand new American-made flag, free of charge. The American Legion is assisting us in properly retiring those traded-in flags. This is the second flag swap we're hosting. You can find information about others at koamnewsnow.com/flag. Still ahead, we're going to tell you about a new grant that'll go toward helping some Joplin students. Plus, a local car dealership gives the gift of warmth to cancer patients. Joplin grade schoolers and preschoolers will soon benefit from new vision screening equipment. The school district says a more than $12,000 grant will cover the cost of 2 new screeners used to test vision of students in Joplin early childhood and all district elementary schools. The district says its previous screening systems were old and in disrepair. The money comes from the Jean, Jack, and Mildred Lemons Charitable Trust Fund. The city of Joplin is asking for your help with a survey related to homelessness in the community. Any residents, business, or property owners are invited to participate in that online survey as the city gathers information about existing offerings and gaps in service for the homeless. Eventually, city leaders hope to use that information to develop plans for addressing the problem. You'll find a QR code linking you to the survey at KOAMnewsnow.com. That survey is going to be open through July 14th. The Joplin car dealership today donated the gift of warmth. Frank Fletcher Subaru donated 70 blankets to the Freeman Cornell Bashore Cancer Institute for patients. Funds used for chemotherapy are cold and can leave the body weak and unable to produce enough heat on its own. Officials say these blankets go a long way to making cancer treatments a little less uncomfortable. A little bit later, a Crowder alum looks ahead to participating in MLB All-Star Weekend.
Plus, a chance for severe thunderstorms rolling in later on tonight. Details coming up. We had some morning scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms out there, and a lot of clouds throughout the day. But once we got late afternoon, sun broke out, so our temperatures have been heating up. But the skies are going to cloud right back up once again later on tonight as we have chances for showers and thunderstorms working back into the region. Kind of hot, 87 right now, feels like 86. Humidity is at 39%, and our severe risk goes up later on tonight. Highest risk really just southwest of Wichita, but if we zoom in, northern counties level 1 out of 5, level 2 in the yellow, level 3 once you get into our southern counties. So we're really looking after 11 p.m. I think they'll get into our western counties. I don't think they'll even get into the metro until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We're going to elevate high wind threat. That's going to be our biggest threat as we go through the overnight hours. You can see those rain chances shoot up 2, 4, 6 a.m. and then out of here just in time for the morning. Pretty much clear skies on the Missouri side. We have some clouds filtering in Kansas, Oklahoma, even a few light little showers. Not a big deal, but a few light little showers in our western counties. What we're watching is what is going to develop out to the west, especially this cluster that is getting going. It's not going to be a big cluster that heads toward us, but it looks like we're kind of in line to get it later on tonight. But again, look how far away this is. So this is many, many hours away. So the next several hours look fine. We drop back into the 70s. Let's go to midnight. Thunderstorms working into our western counties. We'll go to about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Should get into Pittsburgh, into the metro, into Miami. And again, I do think we'll probably get some severe thunderstorm warnings out of these. Then it continues to drive into southwestern Missouri. So here's about 2:30 in the morning, and then by the time you get up, they're gone. So we're looking much better. All right, rainfall amounts. We got to see exactly where these storms line up, but I think the heaviest right along the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. So there's going to be areas that pick up half an inch upwards to an inch of rain, lesser amounts in our northern counties. Evenings dry, thunderstorms increase, especially after midnight. So does the heat. We're going to have to deal with heat advisories, which are going to be in effect as we go through the next few days with triple-digit heat, which is going to work in. This is due to a big dome of high pressure that is actually going to work in a little bit closer to us and give us that little heat dome as we go through the next few days. After we get rid of the storms tonight, we're going to have some clouds in the morning. If these take a while to break up, we may not get as hot in the afternoon, but we should get some sunshine and get up in the upper 90s to near 100 degrees. 78 to start, 99, 5 p.m. Also a little windy. We're going to have those southerly winds at about 10 to 20. Plus our heat indices are going to be about 105 to 110. So if you are going to be outside, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. So heat advisories in effect, alert days due to the heat. 100 tomorrow, 104 on Thursday, 102 on Friday. Then we cool down into the 90s, rain chances on Saturday on the 4th, 96, a couple pop-up storms.
When it comes to temperatures, I'm just asking for double digits. Is that too much?
Not
More or fewer than that seems a little extreme.
Would be nice.
Thanks, Doug. John Dales joins us now. Pitt State softball already preparing for 2024.
Yeah, they most certainly are. The Gorillas added 3 transfers to their roster today for next year. And a former Crowder Rough Rider will be pitching on one of the biggest stages next week. Those stories and more after the break. Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. A former Crowder Rough Rider will be playing in the MLB All-Star Futures game. You might remember Jacob Mizorowski pitched for the Rough Riders back in 2022, going 10-0 in 15 starts, which was enough to make him a junior college All-American. And that was before he got selected by the Milwaukee Brewers with the 63rd pick in the MLB draft. From that point on, Mizorowski has continued to impress. He started 13 games with the Brewers' High A affiliate this year, going with a 2.34 ERA along with 66 strikeouts, and being picked for the Futures game is a really high honor. He's one of just 50 prospects from all of Major League Baseball that'll travel to Seattle next weekend for the game. The Futures game also has a really solid track record of finding some of the best before playing in the big leagues. 8 of the top 10 career leaders in wins above replacement played in the Futures game while in the minor leagues. Meanwhile, Pitt State softball welcomes 3 new transfers to its roster for the 2024 season. This comes while head coach Jenny Fuller is out on the recruiting trail in Colorado, so possibly some more additions to come in the near future. But the Gorillas have been continually improving in the past few years, and 2023 was another step in the right direction. PSU finished with a 27-21 record, which was its first winning season since 2017. The 3 transfers all come to Pitt State from other D2 universities. Elena Rushing is a sophomore by eligibility next spring and played in 38 games in 2 years with Oklahoma Baptist. Sydney Swede comes to Pitt State from Drury University. She'll be a 5th-year grad student and has a .312 batting average throughout her career. Then Courtney Story comes to the Gorillas as a transfer from Southern Arkansas. That name might be familiar. She also played for Crowder College and was the Region 16 Player of the Year in 2022. In baseball, the Griffins got the best of the Outlaws in last night's 4-state showdown at Joe Becker Stadium. No better opportunity for further bragging rights than doing it all over again tonight. This time the game is in Nevada over at Lions Stadium. First pitch at 7 o'clock, so if you're in the area, still plenty of time to get over to that one if you want to brave the heat. This will be the 3rd time this season these 2 teams face off. Nevada's won both of the first 2. We'll play again tomorrow as well. We'll keep you updated on how this one finishes out tonight at 10. Lastly, to Major League Baseball, both the Cardinals and the Royals are back in action tonight. St. Louis just returned from its trip across the pond where they split the London series with the Cubs. Tonight they host the Astros at Busch Stadium, and despite Houston having a winning record and the Cardinals being far from that, momentum tells a different story entering tonight. Cards are 5-5 in their last 10, including that comeback win on Sunday over the Cubs, and the Astros have dropped 7 of their last 10. Meanwhile, the Royals also at home. They host the Guardians tonight. First pitch at 7:10. As we're just about a month away from the MLB trade deadline, something interesting to watch out for the Royals. They have yet to part with Salvador Perez, even though they're at the bottom of the league. That does it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to hear from the mother of a murdered Parsons, Kansas man about the state of the case. Plus, Carthage holds a hearing to decide on a utility rate increase. Those stories, a lot more. It's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Also, of course, tonight, an update on the weather, which could potentially be severe for part of the area tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be late. Most of us, it's going to be after midnight, but kind of a loud night across the region. We do have that severe threat. Then the heat really kicks in. 100 tomorrow, 104 Thursday, 102 on Friday.
Final sports notes.
Griffins and Outlaws getting started at the top of the hour. The Outlaws trying to stop the losing streak. Griffins trying to make it 2 in a row.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Please do be careful out there. We'll see you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.